The latest. Thank you for love and support. I appreciate you all. Our all in all, the Savior, the Protector, the Unifier, the Messiah, the King of Kings. The most loved. Captain Ibrahim Traore. We know that Africa, we can never move forward, or any country can never develop if we don't get other people to come and support us to grow. We all need ourselves to grow. So for that reason, our all in all Captain Ibrahim Traore is calling on investors. This is an opportunity for our brothers and sisters who are living outside of the continent and those who are living in the continent to also contribute their quota to the development of Africa. We all yearn to see a better Africa, and we all sit down to point fingers at our leaders who are corrupt, and that is the reason to which no matter how much we have to support, we are not giving out. But Mali, Niger and Burkina Faso are not these kind of leaders. So anybody that has something that can support, you are welcome in Burkina Faso. Captain Ibrahim Traore has opened the doors to all investors to come into the country and invest, but on a condition. According to him, we are not building a country that will be a country full of debt for the next generations, like what we are seeing with these democratic elected ones. Even children that are born are owing millions of their respective countries' currencies. Yet these children have not even come into the country, yet they are owing already. That is not a country that we are building. We are building a country, even if we want to incur debt, it should be to safeguard the future of these ones that are coming. So that Burkina Faso is faced with security issues. These people, Yellow Popo, will not allow them to rest. They are doing everything possible to destabilize these countries so that it will look as if because they have left. That is why they are having insecurity in these respective nations. But you and I know, and all in us have made it clear where all these things are coming from. So that you should come. Food insecurity. That we have the women who are doing everything possible in the agro sector and everything. So they have specific areas that they need people to come and invest. Infrastructure and in energy and other things. So when you are coming, you know where you are coming to invest. So you look into all these things that he has mentioned and see the one that you think suits you, that you want to invest in. And we all have to build our own nation and our continent. We cannot always sit down for people to move outside of the continent to come and invest.
Thank you for coming to this final session. I was able to mention the document on already a good number of projects that are, I would say, mature concerning several sectors. And we will therefore immediately discuss these different projects and agree on certain principles. But the fundamental principle is to work as much as possible to avoid indebting the country. I say it all day long because as much as we work today on major projects, we must think about future generations. If we have to take on debt, it should be to achieve efficiency and speed in promising sectors that can be profitable quickly. But without debt, just for certain projects, I think we should avoid it. And that is the fundamental principle. For all the projects that will be presented to us, we will need to think carefully to see the type of commitment we should have towards our partners. It's not just about initiating projects for the sake of it, but considering future generations, not collectively indebting the country, and focusing on promising sectors because we have priorities. Today, we are fighting against terrorism, certainly, but we also have the sharing of food security. When we talk about food security, we mean women in agriculture, women in the agro-food industry. So these are sectors that will interest us a lot, especially the industry, the transformation of our society, which will employ many young people and which will thus create enough jobs and allow Burkina to transform its raw materials and export. So will these sectors interest us? A lot, the energy sectors. It is a crucial sector because if we want to develop an industry, we definitely need energy. Today, in the field of infrastructure, we are involved in several initiatives that are being developed to be able to mold and allow the transformation of our various productions. So that's what I can say, the mindset that should guide us on the future project, which should really focus on sectors that can be profitable, that will employ the youth, but avoid debt as much as possible, ineffective indebtedness of the country. On this note, we will try to go through the different projects, and based on this orientation, I think we can quickly decide what could be attained to continue the work. And what can be, I won't reject it, but in any case, reworked. Thank you very much. I am the head of the meeting for the session.
This is the first session of the Presidential Council for Orientation and Monitoring on projects to be executed in the form of public-private partnerships. It was about validating the preliminary program, PPP, which had been validated by the PPP Commission chaired by His Excellency, Mr. Prime Minister. So the Presidential Council for Orientation and Monitoring, which is chaired by His Excellency, the President of FASO, along with His Excellency. The Prime Minister is primarily aimed at validating the public-private partnership program to allow this project to be executed, to negotiate, to be executed in the form of a public-private partnership. What should be noted, as you mentioned, and according to the instructions and vision of the head of state, is essentially to focus on user-paid projects, which has the advantage of indebting the state less, but also allows private investors, both national and international, to invest in strategic CES and priority projects for the economic and social development of Burkina Faso. The main conclusion of this session is that out of the 28 projects that were presented and matured, mature projects, essentially 27, were approved. The only project that was, let's say, withdrawn for resizing is the OASA project. Otherwise, the rest were approved, so 27 out of 28. And among these 27, it should be noted that 23 are essentially projects paid by the elderly. This indicates 90 to 1.26% of projects that do not necessarily incur debt for the state. This aligns directly with the vision of the head of state. And for large-scale projects of economic and social development to be deployed for the entire population, after the adoption of the public-private partnership program, the next step will be negotiations with investors. Then the conclusion of contracts and eventually the deployment of these projects in terms of execution.
Now we have leaders who are doing everything possible to give us a better Africa. We have to also contribute our quota. They can't do it alone. They don't have all the resources that they need to do it. So we don't have to also allow Yolo Popo again to get this opportunity, come into the country and have the better share in our mineral resources and everything. He said we have to add value. Our raw materials, we need not to be exporting them in the raw form. We need to add value so that we sell it to these people, so that the continent will move forward. We know the problem of Africa is because we don't always add value to the mineral resources, but we give them out in the raw form. That is why we are not moving forward. And these people have kept in systems to make sure that the African will never be able to turn the mineral resources around. We have to always give it out in the raw form cheap to them, for them to turn it into whatsoever, come and sell it to us at a very expensive price. So it is a wake-up call to all of us. When you send your money there, you will never regret it. This is Africa we are building. So our brothers and sisters, we are calling on all those who have the ability to please come and invest in Burkina Faso. Come and help develop Africa. When you are doing it in Burkina Faso, doesn't mean that you are not doing it for Africa. Don't let it look as if because you are in Nigeria, you are in Ghana, if you do something in Burkina Faso, you are not doing it for your people. We are one. These people use this tribal division to divide us. We have to understand and see beyond the borders that we are one people. So when we see an African country moving forward, a leader who is doing everything possible to change the narrative in Africa, we all have to join hands to support that person. This way, those Yolo Popo who are doing everything possible to make sure that we don't rise will never succeed. But if we keep on staying under the colors that they have grouped us, thinking that I am a Ghanaian, I'm a Togolese, I'm we will never move forward. We have to start seeing beyond these colonial borders and colors that these people have kept us. If truly we want to move forward as a continent, and if truly we want to develop, we have to start seeing ourselves as one, because we are one people. Let nobody deceive us. So come in, support, and let's make this a dream come true. We are not just going to waste our money or giving it to these democratic elected ones that these people impose on us, that are only there making sure that whatsoever Yellow Papa wants keeps happening. No, these are leaders who have us at heart, and that whatsoever we are doing, we should think about the next generation. That is very important. Democratic elected ones are not thinking about the next generation, and that is why Africa is still where we are. So let's all come together, unite and support, and make sure we get Africa to where it's supposed to be. United we stand, divided we fall, and united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Burkina Faso.